If you have a look at your sewing machine, you can see that on this particular machine there's different letters that correspond with the different stitches. So if you can come and have a look, you'll see that C on this machine is actually the zigzag. So we flip the mechanism around to C so that it's got it on the right one, which is C is the zigzag pattern on that, okay? So that's why we've got it round to there. So as we said, we're folding it. If you're worried about keeping it straight, don't forget to pin it the way that we've been pinning with the quilting. And we zigzag across the first one. We're keeping it straight by watching the edge of the foot, not watching the needle going up and down. And we get to the end and we make sure again that the hook is at the top, we release it and we cut it off. And then we do the same thing again with the top of this, because it's better to, we might as well get the zigzag done first and then change the stitch to straight stitch. So we've got a 1 centimetre fold and we just do it across the top. Remembering to keep our fingers out of the way so that we don't sew our fingers with the needle because they're sharp and they hurt. So the reason we do the zigzag is so that it stops the fabric from fraying, because the stitches are there to stop it from fraying, but it also means that the fabric's folded over so it will have less wear on it. Okay, now we don't want to see a zigzag stitch on the top of our pillowcase, we want it to look nice and pretty, so we're going to turn the stitch back to A so that that's the straight stitch, and we're going to just finish our pillowcase off with a very beautiful straight stitch because, well, that's just to look nice. And we are trying to line up our stitching just on the edge of that seam that we've just done. Making sure that the hook's at the top so we don't knot our thread. So pass that round and have a look what I mean about how we fold it over so that you can see with the straight stitch. I'll do it quickly on this one. Again, at the top so we don't wreck it, and we cut it off like that. Now, that's the top open edges done. We're now to the stage where we can actually put it together. Let's go back to the pinning and cutting table and we'll figure out how it goes together. Now you would think that this is actually the easy part, and this is the trap with pillowcases, okay? Because you would think all you have to do is just sew it together. It's so simple, and it is so simple in this bottom section. But the tricky bit is actually the fold over section at the top, because you want it to fold inside the pillowcase. So it's a bit like a men's puzzle. You've got to figure out how to fold it so that when you turn it the right way around, then it's actually going to be where you want it to be. So the best suggestion with this is actually pin the pillowcase where you think it's going to go, and then turn it inside out and check whether you've got it the way that you want it to go. Okay? So we've got our pins. Well, I'm just going to pin this really quickly today. you know how to pin it well because we've been working on that. Right, I'm going to turn this fabric over. Actually, no, we're better this way. So remember, when we're sewing something, we always keep the patterns together. Remember what I said? We need them looking at each other to be friends. Because if we don't do that, when we turn them inside out so that they're the way we want to wear them or use them, if we don't do that, we're going to end up with the inside of the fabric facing out. So our friends always need to look at each other when they're talking, or we don't make very good friends. And that's exactly what happens with our clothing and our quilts and our pillowcases. If you don't look at each other and talk, you're just not going to do a very good job. Right, so we're going to experiment, all right? We're going to fold this over like this, and we're just going to sew it. We're not going to sew it, we're going to pin it, and then we're going to test it to see if this is the way we want it pinned. So all I've done at this point is I've put our long piece on the top, I've folded the cuff over, and I've pinned it in so we can see if it's going to work. Right, and then I'm going to turn it inside out. And let's have a look how it went. Exactly what we wanted. It turns out like a cuff. Now the temptation bar is to go, hang on, a cuff normally goes over. So you could be tempted to go, hang on, I'm making a pillowcase, I know what I'm doing, it's all good. You might actually be tempted to pin it over the top of the fabric, okay? That might be, so all we've done is we've turned that fabric back on itself, okay, and pinned it. But you go, hang on, it flips over, so maybe we need to flip it over the fabric. Let's have a look what happens if we flip it over the fabric. You can't open it. So I don't even need to pin it. You've already figured out exactly how it works. It makes it very difficult. Some people do it like that, but it makes it very awkward when you're turning it over. It is actually much neater, much neater if you pin it back on itself. Right, so we'll put the pins back in. And do you know what? We are so close to finishing, it's not funny. We sew right around the outside. Not our opening, we need to leave our opening. Look, doesn't that seam look lovely there? It's really neat how it's in there. So we're going to sew right around the outside, okay? And we're going to do straight stitch first, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to zigzag the edge after we finish, because even though the edges are not exposed, they still rub inside the pillow and stuff, so they just need a little bit of support to stop them from fraying. You don't have to fold them over like you do when you've got exposed areas, okay? But inside you still need to do a zigzag and stuff like that, okay? Let's go do that then. Thank you.